All right, welcome back in for Mixed Media Menagerie. So this month, the strange collection of things is a gel plate. So hence why I have my gel press plate. This is the 6x6 square size that I'm going to use today. We need to use 2 colors plus black and white. And I haven't made any decisions on the 2 colors yet. And then a stencil or a mask. So I haven't made any decisions there either. I have this large bunch of really crisp papers that have been gessoed on one side, but they're like old paper. It's super crisp. So I thought I would use this. But first I am gonna start off with doing some gel printing using black, and I'm doing it on white paper with some stencils. That's where I'm gonna actually get started. I think, yeah. So I'm gonna put this aside and grab my bunch. I got a whole bunch of stencils here to select from. Start off using this Stencil Girl Bees stencil. It's L002. I haven't used it. I've had it for quite a while and have not used it. And I end up using a pull that I did on scrap paper as my primary piece and a secondary pull. So I'm just spraying on black, and for the most part my plan was to use black, but on this very first pull you'll see the footage stops because my husband called me in the middle of doing this, and it immediately shifted everything, and so everything had dried, so I have to pull it with some acrylic paint. So that's what I'm applying, is some of the Aleene's titanium white and just getting it real thin so I can pull it. But you'll see it's not a very good print. And I do it on deli paper, which is probably not what I should have done either, because I think it led to it being kind of murky. And you can see the page on the right that I kind of brayered off on here. It is actually what I first started using on the piece. So now I'm going to start collaging down that book paper I had showed you earlier. It was not as crunchy as I had hoped it was because it did have some gesso on it, but I took a lot of time doing this, so I did cut out some of that footage just because it did take me a lot of time. I'm not quite sure why, but I'm just adhering that with some matte gel medium by TCW and getting all that put down onto these 2 pages just for some added texture, kind of someplace to start. If I have texture to start with, usually that really leads me to where I'm going. I'm really driven by that texture.
So he's gone, leaving then you won't see him again. It was convenient, but you won't be staying friends. And you know that, sweetie, you know that. Think you knew it before, but you just ignored that. So now you won't take backs, but there's no refunds here. So you sorta hurt, it makes you see clear. You were just lost, you were just lost. But now you found, and you realize he wasn't at all like what you created in your mind. He wasn't even nice, you wasted all your time. You didn't even like him in real life.
So these are all the prints I ended up gel printing, and you can see some here that I didn't show you that I'd never end up using in this final piece, so I just cut that footage out. But this was just my cast off, and I ended up going with it first. You never know what you're gonna get when you're gel printing and what ends up driving you, so I keep them all. I'm not a big Oohoo glue fan, but I just told myself that this was part of the Mixed Media Menagerie Peace Craft Love Kit and that I was going to use it. And I've been finding myself using it more and more. It's definitely not my first grab for, but it is handy. It definitely is handy.
Even nice, you wasted all your time. You didn't even like him in real life. Real life. Talking about that real life. Holding on 'cause it just feels nice. But let's get back to real life. Real life. Talking about that real life. Holding on 'cause it just feels nice. But let's get back to real life. Real life. Talking about that real life. Holding on 'cause it just feels nice. But let's get back to real life.
So I really focused on just those two prints. That blue one that was a secondary, and then that one that was a cast off from the Stencil. So it's amazing to me, really, what you can generate with gel printing. I know I'm saying a lot about gel printing because it's one of my favorite things to do, to just create things that I can use somewhere down the line. And I've been trying to focus on replenishing my gel printing stock. So when I saw that one of the strange collection of things for this Mixed Media Menagerie was gel printing, I was like, oh yeah, opportunities. So I got these three little packs of the golden so flat samples, and I've been just like making them last because I love the golden so flat paints. And so this is the cerulean blue, and I've been kind of diving into blue a little bit more these days. Blue is not one of my favorite colors, and unlike green, which is my favorite color, and I don't feel comfortable using green, I took a few months, to probably longer than that, to kind of dive into green so I would feel more comfortable with it. And I've been finding myself being drawn to blue lately, and I don't know what that is all about. However, I grabbed for the cerulean blue, probably because I used that blue paper, which kind of shocked me. But I am applying it and spraying water to let it run in all the crevices of all that absolutely gorgeous texture, which you don't really notice until you start adding additional layers to it, and really enhances that texture. And so that really started driving me. I started getting really excited about it, and yeah, it just kind of pushed me. And then I came in with some pink in these, I don't know if you've discovered these Kingston mixed media gel sticks. They're really wonderful. They're like really soft, and you can use your finger to push them in, and they grab on texture beautifully. They are water soluble, so sometimes I will add a little bit of fluid matte medium to them to make them non-water soluble. But you'll see here, I'm gonna primarily just get this color laid down, but then I'm gonna come in with a wet brush and kind of pull some of it back up and use a towel, because it was just too heavy in some areas, and I really liked how the color caught the edge of that collage paper, of the white gel printed paper. And so to really make that stand out, I pulled up some of that gel stick with that wet brush, and then let it stand out the contrast. And so that's one of the really nice things about these King Arts, is that there's some versatility with them. And I do have links down below for all the products I've used. So I get that good and dry, and then I'm going to come in with the Stabilo All pencil in black. I just felt like there needed to be some darkness coming from the edges, especially since I had the rigidity of the black marks from the edge of that stencil there. So I came in and I kind of play with this a little bit because I was trying to get the contrast between the white paper and the paper that was grabbing that pink color, yet at the same time I was pulled to have some more of that black straight line on the edges of this. So you'll see I kind of play with it and see what I really want, and I ended up going darker in some areas and then really light in others. Sometimes it's just about finding a good balance.
You didn't even like him in real life. He said he thought it would be nice if we went for a ride in his dad's jacket.
So I left this in here. I originally was thinking I'm gonna go in with some gesso, and then I thought, you know what, wait a minute, maybe I should try the Kingston white and see how it does. I wasn't happy with it. It is bright white, but it was still picking up some of that other color that I had put down. So I decided I wanted to go in with a gesso because I needed it to mask out the background color. I needed it to be stark white and have some pause zones for your eye as you come across. I left this a lot of the chaos, if you will, or the action or the movement that is happening in this piece. I left a lot of that in it, but I did need to come in and push back a couple areas just for pauses for the eye to move across the page. I also, you know, I love that texture, and I tried to grab some of that as well, so maximizing it. So this is a Fodder School Keeper, and it's a Fodder Keeper from Fodder School. And I knew I wanted to use these florals because they had a lot of those pinks and blues in them. These are watercolor flowers. And so in this time here, you're going to see I kind of futz with them a little bit. I wasn't sure on placement, but I did leave everything in for you to see. So I ended up going with a tag from the Peacecraft Love Mixed Media Menagerie kit. And I used some of my threads in pinks and blues to create the tie for the tag. And really, this next whole part here is a lot of futzing until I figure out exactly what my placement. I actually came up with my quote really quickly from the Art by Marlene stickers, but it was just placement of the flowers that I struggled with a little bit.
Tell him you got his keys cause you thought he needed them, but he's not coming back again. So he's gone, leaving then. You won't see him again. It was convenient, but you won't be staying friends. And you know that, sweetie, you know that. Think you knew it before, but you just ignored that. So now you won't take backs, but there's no refunds here. So you sort of hurt, it makes you see clear that you were just lost. But now you found, and you realize he wasn't at all like what you created in your mind. He wasn't even nice, you wasted all your time. You didn't even like him in real life. He said he thought it would be nice if we went for a ride in his dad's Jaguar, swept up in the moment, sitting in his car. But you know he won't take you far. just ignored that. So now you won't take backs, but there's no refunds here. So you saw the hurt, it makes you see clear. You were just lost, you were just lost. But now you found, and you realize he wasn't at all like what you created in your mind. It wasn't even nice, you wasted all your time. You didn't even like him in real life. Real life. Talking about that real life. Holding on 'cause
So now that I've finally gotten those flowers where I want them, I'm coming in with some Yes paste to glue these down. And I have to say, I enjoy the Mixed Media Menagerie Challenge. It's definitely been something that I've enjoyed over the last year, and then coming into this year, I decided to make it my go-to for my art journaling series here on YouTube. And yeah, it's just been really good for me. It's really pushed me, and I like that. It forces me to practice, and it forces me to experiment, and I really like that. So I hope you enjoy the close-up photo shots that are coming here. You can definitely see the texture so much better in this close-up from all that wonderful vintage paper that I used in the background. Thank you so much for coming and being a part of this channel. I really appreciate you taking your time to watch my videos. And if you would please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already.
you know that, sweetie.